problem. And I mean, we can talk about this under the classic distinction between form and substance too, right?
Oh yeah.
I mean, what we're talking about here is the substance of community, right? And what we try to do under the form, when the substance is gone, then we ratchet up form. And so oftentimes formalism is a response to vacuity.
Right, yeah.
That's a good strategy.
It's vacuous.
Say that one again.
Formalism is a response to vacuity.
There we go. This kind of
Yes.
I have a statement and a question for you learned ladies and gentlemen. You all know your history. During the time of Henry VIII, got the big snit and of course broke away from the Roman Catholic Church. And I was thinking about this with all the commotion that's going on now, and the commotion that was going on then. They had the Puritans, the Calvinists, the Presbyterians, and the New Church of England, and of course the Roman Catholics, fighting sort of like we are now. Are we ever going to get over all this squabbling that we're doing amongst us?
You know,
It's so sad. Really, it's so sad.
I have a, it's very interesting you ask that, because I think I grew up with this idea of kind of an idealism, maybe a little bit of an idealism about church. That, within the church things would be different. But the older I've gotten, the less convinced I am that was perhaps a good way to go about this. Why should we ever expect one part of the order of the fall to be superior to another part of the order of the fall? Why should we?
Evidence is better than your providence.
Yeah. Why should we expect the church to function somehow better than the United States government? I mean, if we really think this through deeply, and we think deeply the both-and character, that we are simulus et peccator, and we think this in a grand scale, why would we ever think the church is anything more than a wretched, flawed, sinful organization?
There's a life sentence.
Well, but it's also the other. I want to say it's also the other. The church is also. You've got to get the other side of it.
But I like to think that they are filled with the Holy Spirit. We are all filled with the power of the same Holy Spirit, and we might be able, under His guidance, to do a little bit better.
We might.
That's the idealism of it.
Right. See, I mean,
we have died and we are being made new, and the made new people might be able to do a little bit better than the ones that haven't been made new, even though we're still partially sinful.
But we have to distinguish between the people and the structure. I mean, is it the case that if Tim does better, that it is the church doing better? I mean, not just Tim doing better, but what is the church? What is it for the church to be church insofar as it is church? I mean, is it Lene? Is it Mark? Is it to some of all of us? What is the activity of the church? What is the agency of the church? I mean, these are the fundamental philosophical notions that have to be clarified before we can even start to talk intelligently about these things.
Ferdy used to say, in heaven there will be no church. Thank God. Okay. And I think what he's getting at there is, in a sense, exactly what we're talking about. And that is that the idealistic notion that the church is a little pocket, however little you want to make it, of God's kingdom on earth, at least as an organization, is a pitfall that will lead to all kinds of trouble and bondage, inevitably.
Right.
And it's to be stripped of that is the road to freedom.
And see, here's where Gerhard had this all the way through. I mean, we want to think of this thing ontologically. So we want to think of a little bit of being over here and a little bit of being over there. These beings come up and ratchet against each other, and this being's going to change that being. Ooh. But of course, this is all eschatological.
Yeah.
So it's the it's the shape of the future that lies in the present, but the present is not. The present can't be other than what it is. Go ahead, John.
Thinking about one of the maxims of Lutheran learning, talk about one of the goals of church work or being a Christian was to make the visible church as close to the invisible church as possible. How would that notion? That was the goal of his whole mission.
Okay, well, here we're to make the
He
visible.
loved both of them.
Yeah, okay.
He loved both.
Okay, first of all, we got to distinguish the hidden church and the revealed church and the invisible church and the visible church. And of course, Missouri Synod has traditionally not seen a huge distinction here between the hidden revealed dichotomy and the invisible visible dichotomy. But if you think about it, something that is invisible is in principle not seeable, but something hidden is seeable in principle but not seen.
Right.
Something that is invisible is not able to be seen.
You got it.
Right.
Yeah.
I got it.
Yeah.
Something hidden is able to be seen but not seen. So we got a distinction there that we got to pay attention to. But when we think about the invisible church or the hidden church, and we try to understand that as being made visible. See, if you're using the invisible and the visible dichotomy, that's going to make a lot more sense than if you're using the hidden revealed dichotomy. Because the invisible-visible dichotomy then starts to set up a Platonic reality that, of course, Melanchthon didn't want to spiritualize church. Also, then, with that invisible-visible distinction, we get into the whole thing, which is classically Lutheran. Let's go back to Bayer, right? Not the guy over in Germany now, but Wilhelm Bayer. And you can just trace it down through these other guys, like Quinstedt and Johann Gerhardt and all of these cats. And they are going to apply the Nicene predicates, right? As follows. The church is one because it's filled with believers. They are one in being believers, right? One, holy. Well, they are all justified by grace through faith, so they're all holy. Apostolic. Well, they're all have the faith, the apostolic faith. One holy Catholic. And Catholic because they're everywhere. Everywhere they are is there. So that formulation, I think, has problems theologically. But I mean, it's very interesting. I'm glad we brought it up, because it suggests that there's some work to do that can physically instantiate the universe. I mean, it's basically a Platonic conception. It's an instantiation of the ideal, so that earthly reality then can be seen to participate in the invisible perfection of the church. And I don't think that the ideal escapes the fall. See, we don't understand that the ideal is deeply part of the fall.
So what if in the visible-invisible dichotomy, and if it's our job to make the visible church as much like the invisible church as possible, and if the only quality we know for sure of the invisible church under the conditions of the fall is that it is invisible, then our job is to make the visible church
Disappear. There you go. There's an agenda I can embrace.
Isn't it? In heaven there is no church.
Yeah, that is wonderful. That's a great idea. But wait. Oh, if I agree. Okay. But I mean, what we have here then is, about these things very hard are going to have to say, it looks like I have one more thing to say, the following. Fellowship of preachers must understand the nature of the relationships involved, avoid as much as possible confusions. That is, we have to think deeply about accountability and authority with respect to what?